She was drunk when she said it. I was never attracted to you, and I'm attracted to other men. By the time the sun came up, I was gone. No note. No goodbye. Just gone. Name's Dean Walker. And for as long as I can remember, I believed that hard work could fix just about anything. That's how I was brought up. You put your head down, stay focused, and eventually, things work themselves out. That belief shaped my whole life, especially when it came to marriage. Most of my days blurred into a constant stream of meetings, phone calls, deals, always on the move. I hustled nonstop. Wake up, grind all day, come home completely drained. Most nights I barely managed a quick good night to Megan before crashing. But I told myself it was all worth it. I was doing it for us, building something solid, making sure she never had to worry about a thing. And whenever I wasn't working, she was on my mind. I thought about how to make her smile, how to give her a life she could be proud of. I'd bring her souvenirs when I traveled. I'd plan little weekend trips to make up for the lost time. No, it wasn't perfect. But I figured she got it. Love's not about perfection. It's about showing up and putting in the effort. At least, that's what I believed. Looking back now, I see how wrong I was. But back then, I didn't have a clue. I thought the more I worked, the more I proved my love. But lately, something had shifted. She barely looked at me anymore. At first, I chalked it up to stress. We'd only been married 18 months. Maybe it was just that early slump everyone warned you about. But deep down, I felt it. Something wasn't right. Still, I didn't want to face it. I kept telling myself she was just tired, or maybe in a funk. I thought if I just kept showing her I cared, if I went the extra mile, things would fall back into place. I really believed that effort and love could fix everything. I was wrong. Way off. When things started getting tense, I decided to do something, make a gesture. I thought maybe a special dinner might help us reconnect. Yeah, maybe I was naive, but I had to try. I spent the whole afternoon in the kitchen, cooking her favorite, chicken parmesan with garlic mashed potatoes. I hadn't made it since our very first date. I lit some candles, dimmed the lights, even made a playlist of those soft love songs she used to play on repeat. It was my way of saying, I'm here. I still care. I'm trying. She came home, stepped inside, and froze for a second. Wow, she said, looking around. Her eyes landed on the table. For a moment, I thought I saw something in her face. Maybe appreciation? She kissed me on the cheek, sat down, and smiled. Dinner started off okay. We talked, we laughed a little. She complimented the food, joked that I might be the better cook between us. For the first time in months, she seemed genuinely at ease. And for a second, I let myself hope. But after her second bottle of wine, things started to unravel. It wasn't dramatic at first, just subtle signs. She leaned back, her words slower, her body language more relaxed, loose. Then she set her glass down, looked at me, and said, You're a nice guy. You always make sure I'm taken care of. I blinked. What do you mean? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady even though my stomach had already dropped. She gave a soft laugh, the kind that feels more sad than amused. I mean, I've never really been attracted to you. Not in that way. Her words knocked the air out of me, but she wasn't finished. She leaned in like she was sharing a casual memory. You're sweet, gentle, safe, but you're not my type. Then she started describing what was her type, someone with an edge, a little danger, someone who breaks rules. Everything I'm not. And then came the final blow. When I met him, my type, I couldn't help myself. It spiraled from a harmless moment. She didn't even finish the sentence. She didn't have to. I got the message loud and clear. I sat there, nodding, trying not to lose it while she spilled every word like it was no big deal. My chest felt like it was caving in, but I kept my face still. Inside, though, something cracked. This wasn't an apology. She wasn't even sorry. It felt more like an explanation, like she was trying to justify everything, make me understand why she cheated. And that's when I knew. I didn't need to argue. I didn't need to raise my voice. All I had to do was listen, and then make a decision. That night, lying in bed next to her, I knew we were done. There was no saving this. Her words kept echoing in my mind. You're not my type. I stayed because you're nice. I found what I wanted in someone else. It wasn't just what she said. It was the way she said it, casual, careless. Like none of it mattered. As I stared at the ceiling, listening to her soft snoring, I didn't feel anger. I just felt clarity. No fight was going to change who she really was. And finally, I believed her. Confronting her would have just given her what she wanted, a chance to explain, to justify, to spin it her way. Megan didn't deserve that. She didn't even deserve a fight. She didn't deserve closure, either. What she needed was to feel what life without me actually looked like. By the time the morning light crept through the blinds, my mind was made up. She wouldn't find me there when she woke up. I've never been the kind of guy to act on impulse. When I make a move, it's thought out. Intentional. That morning, I left the house the same way I always did, quiet, measured, nothing out of place. Only difference was, I wasn't coming back. My earliest call that morning was to Cliff Marston, my attorney. Told him I wanted the divorce paperwork drawn up. No delays. I gave him everything he needed to make the split clean. Permanent. Then I called Eli Torres, my accountant. Sharp guy. But just after lunch, he had already started liquidating my investments. Everything we co-owned was getting pulled apart. My accounts were cleared, and my assets were fully in my control before the day ended. Next came my family. I didn't go into details. They didn't need to know the whole story. Just enough. I told them, if she calls, say nothing. Don't tell her where I am. Don't pass along any messages. She doesn't get to fall apart in front of people who care about me. I left a single note behind with Cliff. Something for her to receive when she inevitably tried to chase me down. She'd get the papers soon enough. No letter inside. No long explanation. Just the reality of what she'd thrown away. A month down the line, the papers were served. Cliff told me she tried reaching out, phone calls, emails, even showed up at his office. I ignored every single one. She begged for a reason. But what was there to explain? She already knew what she'd done. At first, she stalled on signing. Dragged it out. Maybe she thought she could guilt me into talking. Or maybe she just didn't want to lose the comfort and stability I provided. But once she saw the financial terms, she gave in. I wasn't surprised. She'd always looked out for herself. And when that pen finally hit the paper, that was it. The chapter closed with barely a sound. The day I walked away from that marriage, I didn't care what would happen to her. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't vengeful. I just wanted out. I wanted peace, away from the lies, the manipulation, the way she treated me like I was disposable. So I left her to the life she claimed she wanted. At first, it looked like she was thriving. She had her freedom, a bank account full of settlement money, and nothing tying her down. I'd worked years to build something, and she got a piece of it when she walked. She started going out more, buying herself new clothes, dating around. From what I heard, she even laughed about finally getting the life she deserved. But people like her, they don't look past the next thrill. They think freedom means no rules, no responsibility, no consequences. But life doesn't let you off the hook forever. Eventually, one of those so-called freedoms caught up with her. I found out through Rachel Quinn, someone we both used to know. Word travels, especially when there's drama involved. Megan got pregnant. Wasn't planned, obviously. The guy? Took off the second she told him. No calls. No messages. Just vanished. Left her completely alone. And that wasn't the end of it. She burned through the money like it was a game. New shoes, new men, new everything, until suddenly, there was nothing left. And when the baby came, she was neck-deep in debt. She ended up selling the house, our old home. Well, her house by then. The last piece of the life we once shared. Gone. And the friends? They disappeared too. You see, people like her draw in folks just like them, surface level, self-absorbed, only around for the fun parts. The second she needed support, childcare, cash, a listening ear, they vanished. Turns out, even her best stories couldn't hold their attention anymore. She got the freedom she wanted, but that kind of freedom comes at a price. She lost everything that actually mattered because she never appreciated it to begin with. And honestly, I didn't feel sorry for her. I wasn't out there celebrating her downfall, either. I just didn't care. She became someone I used to know. Some people think they're escaping something, when really, they're running full speed toward a brick wall. That was her. And when she finally hit that wall, there was no one left to catch her. Nearly 4 years slipped by. My life moved on, not flashy, not dramatic, just quiet, steady. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. I built it my way. Then one afternoon, out of nowhere, she showed up. I was sitting by the window, reading, when the doorbell rang. Wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door, and there she was. She looked pretty much the same. Polished, put together. Still carried herself with that same old confidence I used to admire. Her eyes locked onto mine, searching, like she was waiting to see what I'd say, what I'd feel. But all I felt was distance. A quiet, cold detachment. I had no idea how Megan managed to track me down. And honestly, I didn't care. All I felt in that moment was disgust. She stood there in silence for a few seconds, just staring at me like she was waiting for some kind of permission to speak. She didn't get it. Eventually, she opened her mouth anyway. Her voice cracked as soon as she started. "I've been trying to find you for years," she said, shaky and low. "I needed to tell you how sorry I am. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake, and I've been paying for it day in and day out." She paused there, hoping I'd say something. I didn't. I just leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, and let her twist in it. "I thought I could have it all," she kept going, her hands trembling as she wrung them together. "I thought I could chase excitement somewhere else and still keep you too. But I was wrong. I didn't realize what I had until I lost it." Her words poured out sloppy, rushed, desperate. She told me about the mess her life had become, the broken relationships, the money problems, the nights alone. She even admitted she'd been left pregnant and abandoned. And then, eyes soaked with tears, she looked right at me and said, "Please, I need you. I've never stopped needing you." I leaned in a little and locked eyes with her, just to make sure what I said next would hit where it needed to. "This isn't a conversation," I told her, voice steady and cold. "It's the end of one. You made your choice," I continued. "You said I wasn't your type. Remember that. So go find your type. See if he wants you now." She recoiled like I just slapped her, but I wasn't finished. "I don't care how much you regret it. I don't care how much it's cost you. That's your cross to bear, not mine. And don't ever show your face around here again." I turned, shut the door in her face, and walked away without hesitation. No guilt. No second thoughts. I didn't need her tears or her excuses. That chapter of my life was closed. As I walked back through the house, it hit me just how far I'd come. Losing Megan hurt more than I ever expected. It shattered me in places I didn't even know were breakable. But it also forced me to rebuild, step by step. And I'm still rebuilding. Thing is, sometimes the greatest revenge is just disappearing from someone's life completely. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do, for yourself, is to let go and not look back. Losing her? That was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because in the process, I found myself again. And that, right there, was all the closure I was ever going to need. So now let me ask you something. If you were standing in my shoes, what would you have done? Seriously, think about it. Imagine sitting down to a dinner you spent hours preparing, trying to save your marriage, only to have your wife tell you, between bottles of wine, that you're not even her type. She laughs. She confesses she's been sleeping around. No shame. No guilt. Now ask yourself, would you stay and keep fighting for someone like that? Or would you walk? Look, I'm not here to preach. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the right thing is. But here's something I've learned the hard way. If someone shows you they don't respect you, believe them. Stop making excuses for people who treat you like you're disposable. Don't let their lack of appreciation wear down your self-worth. Because here's the truth, people will treat you how you let them treat you. If they step on you once, they'll do it again. And it only gets worse the longer you stay. I know leaving isn't easy. It hurts. It's messy. It's lonely sometimes. But you've got to think long-term. Yeah, starting over is scary. Being alone is scary. But let me tell you something, being alone is a hell of a lot better than lying next to someone who makes you feel like you'll never be enough. And when you finally get the courage to walk away from someone who can't see your value, you make room for something better, even if that better is just finally feeling peace in your own skin. Thanks for listening.